Hello, Gemini. This is a reading for you for, well, whenever it makes sense for you to see it. We're just doing an impromptu kind of zodiac update and uploading it to YouTube. You can come see us on the stream on Twitch if you'd like. Tarot Lady in a Church. If you don't have Twitch yet, I mean, or maybe everybody except for me knows about Twitch or knew about it before I knew about it. That's too many cards. A lot of great tarot readers on Twitch. Good reason to make yourself a little account. Roll on up to Tarot Lady in a Church channel, or the tarot category is awesome on Twitch. Interactive readings, you know, you're a little bit kind of bummed out by watching recorded readings. Our lives on YouTube a bit too chaotic. Come down to Twitch. We got you covered. The world and the Night of Inspiration comes at us in the Gemini version of things. Something just kind of ends. Something's just kind of going to end. If you're wondering when something's going to end or how something's going to end, it's just going to kind of like a fireworks explodes and then it just kind of ends. It's over. Okay, that's it. It ends when it ends. It ends the way it does. It just ends in a very chaotic kind of... There's not like a grand finale. It's more like a... we'll figure it out when we get there kind of thing. It ends when we're tired. So maybe it's like a party and it's over, you know, the 8 p.m. to question mark. When's it going to end? Oh, it'll end when it ends. Open. But one thing's for sure, it's definitely going to end like that. Wow, this is the first time we've seen this card today. Page of Voices, Gemini. Coming at us with a whole new style. It's almost like when it looks like a good time. Like there's a gauging a good time to end things going on. Is now a good time? Kind of like we'll play it by ear. And just looking for the signs that it's time for it to be over. Oh, I've got to slow down on this one. I maybe had a bit too much coffee. Maybe I'm going too fast. Well, that's what I got. I got something out of the Nine of Voices, and then I saw this whole thing open up. The Nine of Voices being kind of, all right, let's put something on, let's put these glasses on. Somebody else's perspective. Nine of Voices is worry. And I see, Gemini, you might be worried that somebody's going to end something because you're worried. This is like the definition of like self-fulfilling anxiety about a relationship or about a situation that somebody's going to notice that you're worried it's going to end, and so then they're going to end it because they don't like the vibe. It's like a style, an aesthetic decision. And I'm going to say, if somebody's going to end something because you have worries that it's going to end, trust me, this is working in your favor. This isn't somebody who is going to be keeping things going. If something's going to end simply because you're worried about it. If you have a understanding about things that your negative thoughts are ruining things, whatever thing that would be ruined simply for the aesthetic of your negative thoughts is probably not a thing worth worrying about. Probably not a thing worth your worries. Probably not something you actually want to stay going. It's probably something that would be great if it was to end. Superficial. Meanwhile, it kind of feels a bit young, like it's maybe worried about your popularity, worried about what people are going to think of you, and then hoping that nobody finds out that you're worried about what people are going to think of you. Mean Girls kind of thing. Death. Oh yeah, it's going to end. Ooh, if there's a social group that you're having trouble fitting into because you're starting to lose it a little bit in terms of like they're making you feel a bit uncomfortable, or even you can even have it if you want, Gemini, have it. You have anxiety about something and it's something that feeds into itself, that the fact that you have anxiety about it would be something that gives you anxiety. If you're worried about fitting into something like this, and you're starting to become aware that it's, it's something that's going to like drop you in 2 minutes. Good riddance. Let me just there's a space here for stuff to worry about. I'm not going to take your worries away from you, Gemini. I'm going to say that there is stuff to worry about. That the level of what to worry about is going to the level that it operates on, this superficial level that it's operating on, it's going to end. And maybe like to get catastrophic, like you've been afraid this is going to happen. And this is going to carve out space for a whole new set of things to worry about. Not that you enjoy worrying about things, but there is something to be said for you think things through. And you have your strategies, and you have the ways that you go about things, and you have the thoughts you have about it at night. A lot of the things that have been occupying your thoughts are going to be cleared away. And it's basically in a way where the superficial nature of it, the superficial nature that it would end because it's looking, as soon as it sees that you're too into it, it's kind of like that, you're not being cool. And so it's going to be like, oh, you're way too into this. Like, you don't belong here. And it's basically, what's going to end is not this thing. It's involvement in your life is going to end. And the irony is, or like kind of like the reassurance in a weird way, is that we're developing a whole new set of things to worry about in this space that's going to be made. So we're carving out a space. We're going to put something else in there. Something else is going to come along. So just to reassure you as you go through this process of something clearing out and something coming to take that place. Somebody just put the quote, "I don't want to belong to any club that would accept me as one of its members." Groucho Marx, exactly. The Justice card. See this? Like, it's cracking open a shell. Like, ooh. One thing that I'm losing sleep over these days is the fact that we got that reading that technically your future self, or your highest self, as people call it, technically your highest self's ancestor. That I'm losing sleep over. That is the concept there, that you are an ancestor right now to the future version of yourself. It challenges something that's been programmed into us, and I just can't quite put my finger on it, but it shakes things up inside. This is a similar thing, that there's something that is going to be an ancestor to your new experience. There'll be a nostalgia to it, like going back and looking at your old Nokia phone. There'll be a period of time where it's just like, I can't believe I used to write texts on this thing. I feel like I'm reading for somebody quite a lot younger. But maybe not, you know. We all can remember these times. Isn't it hard to believe that we are in a generation where, like, we're starting to encounter people who have never not had smartphones? Not just like cell phones, but like smartphones. Phones that did more than just call people. Not everybody had that for their whole life. Okay, the muse of materials, towing the line there. Wanting to still be with it, but ready to outgrow the maturity level of your peers. I'm sorry. Gemini, I'm seeing you're outgrowing. You're maybe a fast bloomer. We talked about a late bloomer at some point, I think last night. I don't know, it's all blurry, but it's like you're growing at a rate that's a bit faster than your peers. And as much as you might think that you did it by being kind of too like questioning of what's going on here, like, you know, if people are being superficial and mean and you're up at night thinking about how silly that is, or this, how unfair it is, and it's causing a growth of maturity in you, like a realization almost that like, this is worrisome, like this lifestyle is troubling. You're growing, and it's possible that you're kind of growing out of this old way, growing out of this younger version. I don't know, there's cats, and it sounds to me like they're opening a safe. I don't. Hopefully nobody's burglaring and opening the safe. There's a safe in here? What? Where? I'll never tell you. Oh my gosh. I just had this vision of like Colin and Dirk, like, tell me where the safe is. And Colin and Dirk, they're all tied up and, well, I don't know. Are they going to be loyal? They both know where it is. I'm going off on a tangent because it's like almost like in time this stuff is just going to be details. Towing the line here and what you do about this. Obviously, you're going to grow at your own pace, and you're maybe even going to do a little bit of holding yourself back to not want to like poke out too much or stick out from the crowd too much. But can I encourage you to be yourself a little bit more in the coming days and weeks, Gemini, because it looks like as much as it can be troubling to be somebody who doesn't fit in, it's also what's required in order to grow. When something doesn't fit anymore, it's not that you don't fit in, it's that this clothing doesn't fit you, that it's like this doesn't fit you anymore. You've grown. You're needing something of a different shape. And if you keep trying to wear clothes for 22-year-olds and you're 32 now, maybe you're going to feel a little bit awkward because your body's changed shape. Or if you're going to keep hanging around with people who act like they're still in high school, yet you've got to maintain a full-time work schedule and you're needing to get a good quality sleep at night and you don't have time for their drama. You know, sometimes you have to grow out of the things. I'm seeing you growing out of something. And I see that the worry is that you're not fitting in, and I want to reassure you that not fitting in couldn't be the most, it couldn't be a better sign for you personally. You would have to not fit in order to grow past the social influence of the group that you're in or the place where you are. If you're thinking that you're going to be able to change who you are in an environment that holds you back, some people can maybe be so split in their minds as to execute such an event, but you'd have to be totally secret about who you are. You'd have to put on a complete mask. You'd have to wear a complete outfit, like not even a mask, like a person suit you'd have to have on that makes you look like you're still 22 years old or the age you were when you fit into this environment. The weight of carrying that around is enough to give you sleepless nights. Maybe it's not that you're not being accepted. Maybe it's that you're trying to become accepted in an environment that doesn't fit you. Maybe you're so worried that you're going to be found out. And maybe fitting in isn't the only option. Somebody typed in the chat, sometimes you have to look for healthier soil so you can blossom. Can you please, Gemini, in the coming days and weeks especially, dedicate your time? You're getting a guidance to walk this path. It takes a lot of your energy and effort. It'll take a lot of your resources. It'll take everything you have. Because everything you have wants to come out, and maybe this shell around you has hardened quite a bit. And it might take everything you have to bust free from it. There's no indication, there's no rhyme or reason to why things stop fitting you. They just kind of happen for when they do. The timing is just fine. The timing is just perfect. The world is like it ended, and it ended the way it did. It's just kind of like, we'll play it by ear. And if you're up at night worrying about something like this, if you're worried about the fact that you're having trouble fitting in or you don't want to be found out, that's the sign. That's the communication. It's ending. There we go. Temperance. Wait till you become somebody who has grown before you make a judgment about, who has grown out of something before you make a judgment about what value there is to staying covered up. Get yourself out of this environment before you judge the nature of the benefits of staying in it versus the benefits of growing away from it or growing out of it. You have to, in order to experience this, to be the person who put your put yourself in order to experience the karma, in order to experience being the person who grew out of their old environment, who became better than what their old environment expected of them, who did more than what their environment believed they were capable of. In order to be that person who had that experience, you have to walk the line and have that experience. Sometimes we forget that. You can say that you're different. You can say that you're not like them. You can say that, but I think we've got something like the social influence of being in a place that is smaller than you, or being in a place that is, like, I'm even getting like judgmental, or like, this could be relevant to somebody who's experiencing discrimination. Like, there's something to, standing up and fighting for your rights. There's also something to be said for an environment that holds you back for unfair, silly reasons, for superficial reasons, because of the way you look. And you spend so much time, energy, effort, money, focus on trying to look the part, trying to look acceptable. You don't have any more time, energy, effort, focus to spend on being yourself. And it's not that you are not always going to be you inside. It's that the most of you is going to come out when you put the most of your time, energy, effort, and focus into being yourself. So this is a fruitless endeavor here, is what we're getting. Sticking with something you've outgrown already. Something that is not ready for you. Wow. Well, that was Gemini. Hope you enjoyed the reading. Come see us on Twitch if you'd like, and hopefully we'll see ya. Thanks so much. Bye.